Hey there traders, welcome back to the video today and thanks for joining again. So we're looking at Wednesday, September 10th. Major stocks inched higher, so let's jump straight into the indices. Dow Jones climbed 0.2% today, S&P currently up 1%, and Nasdaq also up 0.2%. So I can also tell you that the Russell is also up today. So taking a look here, we can see that healthcare surged a bit, AI stabilized, bond yields steadied, and gold stayed strong. So in this next 10 minutes or so, we'll recap the close, dive into what drove sector rotation, and look at the macro backdrop. We're going to highlight some of today's biggest movers and lay out 3 actionable trade setups for tomorrow too. And I'm also going to share a lesson on why volume matters more than headlines. I'm doubling down on this again today. So let's fire it up, everyone. Today was green overall. The S&P and Nasdaq pushed higher and small caps led, and the Dow followed. On the week so far, the Nasdaq is pacing 1.2%. Russell is strongest at 2%, showing breadth is improving. And we're also going to take a look at sector rotation, what's under the hood. So talking a little bit more about sector rotation, this article was driving the news a bit today. So this wasn't just random green that we're seeing today, there was clear rotation. This was led by healthcare. So Johnson & Johnson jumped 5% after raising its full year 2025 outlook on stronger than expected operational performance. CVS followed, gaining 4% on unbeat guidance. Healthcare is telling us investors want defensive growth with earnings clarity. So Johnson & Johnson's Q2 results and upgraded outlook. Essentially tech and AI stabilized. Nvidia up 2%, AMD 1% after weeks of chop post earnings. Semis are finding footing. Salesforce lagged again, but the rest of big tech held firm. This shows selectivity is returning. Money is still in AI, but it's being smart about where it flows. So it's just taking a look at all of Johnson & Johnson's figures here after Q2. So here's the full year 2025 guidance. Continuing on from the sector rotation, banks stayed weak, down 3%. Lower yields squeezed margins, and the Fed outlook shifted dovish. Banks are on the back foot. And then talking about gold. Where was gold? We had some gold was it in this article or the next? Yes, it was in this article in fact. So gold miners soared. Alamos Gold AGI gained 6% as spot gold held near all-time high. That's the market hedging quietly. Investors want exposure to safety alongside risk assets. And talking about rotation, this is not a big risk off market, it's risk being spread out. Healthcare and gold are on one side, tech stability on the other side. That's constructive. So J&J is all over the news today. But let's talk a little bit about macros and why sentiment holds. So the big picture, the bond market calmed down. The 10-year yields held steady near 4.20%, a relief after last year's spike and Friday's collapse. The dollar softened, giving exporters a breather, and this balance is absolutely key, traders. Why is that? Well, no fresh panic in bonds means growth stocks can breathe, gives them a little bit of space to grow, right? Gold strength shows investors still want hedges. And Russell 2000 leadership signals risk appetite is broadening beyond mega caps. When you have defensive sectors rallying alongside smaller caps, that's a market in accumulation, not distribution. The path of least resistance remains up. Alright, our biggest movers of today were Microsoft, up 4% after a strong cloud earnings beat. Mega cap tech is still a safe anchor in volatile markets. Alamos Gold, ticker symbol AGI, up 6% as gold trades near records. Miners are pure plays on this macro hedge. Then PTON up 45% over here. On surprise, positive subscriber growth from laggard to growth, classic momentum ignition. Alright, so those are our articles that you should take a look at today. Some very interesting reads. And now what we're going to do is take a look at some trade setups for Wednesday. So let me open up TradingView so that we can take a look at this. The first one we're going to be taking a look at is Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT. So taking a look at our trade setups going into Wednesday. Ticker symbol MSFT Microsoft, and this is our defensive leader. So for a bull setup, hold above today's high with VWAP is a continuation long, and for a bear setup, fail VWAP with strong sell volume is a tactical short back to support. Our second hot stock going into Wednesday is Alamos Gold, ticker symbol AGI. And Alamos Gold is going to be our hedge play. So for a bull setup, let's give it a second to load here. So if Alamos Gold fails VWAP and stalls, short scalp back to the support. And for a fade setup, if it fails VWAP, stalls, short scalp back to support. So Alamos Gold, ticker symbol AGI, this is our hedge play. So for a bull setup, if it breaks fresh highs with rising volume, this is long momentum. For a fade setup, if it fails VWAP, stalls, short scalp back to support. Alright, our last hot stock going into Wednesday, we're looking at PTON, ticker symbol PTON, and this is our volatility magnet. So for a bull setup, we're looking at Peloton rather now. So if it consolidates above gap base, long with tight stops. And for a fade setup, if gap fades below VWAP quickly, short into retrace. Alright, our lesson of the day, again, I want to stress volume over headlines. Headlines create noise, but volume creates conviction. So when we're talking about volume, we're talking about these bars that we're seeing below the graph, right? When you're unsure whether a move is real, check the tape. If volume is absent, odds are it won't stick. So our key takeaways from today's video is that indices are mostly green, but small caps are leading. Rotation into healthcare and gold alongside stabilization in tech is bullish breadth. Macro tone calmed, yield steady, dollar softer, and gold is strong. Microsoft, Alamos Gold, and Peloton are clean setups heading into Wednesday. And our lesson again about volume. So this market is giving us both safety and opportunity. Trade the setups, respect VWAP and volume, and keep discipline tight. I'll see you again tomorrow at the open. Thanks for joining the video. Take care.